The dusty neon sign of Rusty's Diner flickered weakly against the night. It was past midnight, the kind of hour when only the lost, the broken, and the restless wandered in. Inside, the jukebox hummed an old blues tune, half drowned by the hum of the fridge and the crackle of the grill. Lila Carter, a young waitress barely in her 20s, wiped the counter with trembling hands. Her wrists were covered in faded bruises. Her soft brown eyes carried the weight of years she hadn't lived yet. She worked double shifts, anything to pay off her mother's hospital bills. She was kind to everyone, even the drunks who forgot her name, even the truckers who stared too long. But tonight wasn't like other nights. The diner bell jingled. A tall man stepped in, leather jacket, tattoos crawling up his neck, and eyes dark as oil. The door slammed behind him, making everyone flinch. Lila froze. He walked straight to the counter, his boots thudding like gunshots. "Coffee," he muttered. "Black." Lila nodded quietly and poured it, her hands shaking slightly. He watched her. There was something in his stare, not hunger, not interest, something darker, something that made her chest tighten. "You work alone tonight?" he asked, his voice rough. Lila forced a smile. "Yeah, just closing up soon." The man's smirk widened. "Good. I like quiet places." Something in his tone sent a cold wave through her. She stepped back slowly, her breath shallow. The man leaned over the counter, his tattooed hands tapping. "You got a name, sweetheart?" "Lila," she whispered. "Pretty name," he said. "Pretty face, too." She didn't answer. The jukebox clicked to silence. The air grew heavy. Then, without warning, he stood, grabbed her wrist, and yanked her close. "Let's see who can save you now," he hissed. The words were venom. His hand gripped her shirt and tore the sleeve, fabric ripping through the air, before she stumbled back, terrified. Her eyes darted around the empty diner. No customers. No help. No one. He stepped closer. But before he could move another inch, the roar of motorcycle engines exploded outside. The diner door burst open. Leather jackets. Heavy boots. The unmistakable emblem, Hell's Angels, a flaming skull with wings. The man froze. At the front stood Ethan Rage Walker, the chapter leader, a man built like iron, eyes like burning coal. He'd seen enough evil in his life to recognize it in a heartbeat. Behind him, two other bikers entered, Mason and Griff, both silent, both ready. Ethan's gaze fell on Lila, her torn shirt, her trembling hands, her tear-streaked face. Then he looked at the stranger. "What the hell's going on here?" Ethan growled. The stranger smirked, trying to hide his fear. "Mind your business, old man." Ethan stepped forward, slow and deliberate. "You just made it my business." The air was electric. The stranger's hand slid toward his belt, a knife glinted under his jacket. Mason saw it first. "He's armed." Before the man could pull it out, Ethan grabbed a metal coffee pot and slammed it across the counter, hot liquid splashing everywhere. The knife clattered to the floor. The biker leader's voice was low, deadly calm. "You hurt her, didn't you? You thought no one would come." The stranger backed away, his swagger fading. "She asked for it." The next second, Ethan's fist connected with his jaw, a brutal, resounding hit that sent him crashing into a booth. "Don't you ever say that," Ethan growled, shaking with fury. Lila covered her mouth, tears flooding her cheeks. Griff grabbed the man by the collar and shoved him against the wall. "You got a name, punk?" The man spat blood. "Name's Rick." Mason leaned close. "Rick who?" "Rick Dalton." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "Dalton, as in Sheriff Dalton's brother?" Rick's smirk returned. "That's right. You touch me, you're dead. My brother runs this county. You really think your little biker gang scares me? Ethan stepped back, his jaw clenched. He looked at Lila. Is it true? Her voice trembled. He's been coming here for weeks. I told him to stop. He said if I told anyone, his brother would shut the diner down. The room fell silent. Rick laughed through his blood. See? Nobody can save you, sweetheart. Not even them. Ethan looked down for a moment, then his eyes turned cold as steel. Ethan turned to his men. Brothers, you hear that? Griff cracked his knuckles. Loud and clear. Mason muttered, no man touches a woman like that. Not on our watch. Ethan nodded. Then we do what we always do, we protect what's right. Rick tried to push past them, but Ethan blocked his way. You leave this diner, you go straight to the sheriff and tell him what you did. You confess. Or. Rick sneered. Or what? Ethan's voice dropped to a whisper. Or we make sure every road in this county knows your face and your shame. You'll never hide again. Rick's smirk faltered. Lila's lip quivered. He won't stop. His brother, he'll cover it up. He always does. Ethan turned to her, his tone softening. Not this time. He pulled a phone from his pocket, handed it to her. Call her. The reporter, Jessica Lane. She owes me a favor. Lila hesitated, confused. She runs that crime column, Ethan explained. She's been trying to expose the sheriff for years. Tonight, she'll get her proof. Lila's fingers trembled as she dialed. Jessica? It's Lila Carter. Please, you were right about the Dalton brothers. I have proof. He's here. He tried to. Her voice broke. Ethan gently took the phone and finished the call. You got 10 minutes, Jess. Bring a camera. He hung up and turned back to Rick. Sit down. Rick hesitated, then Mason pushed him into a booth. You move, you bleed. The minutes crawled. Lila stood near Ethan, shaking. Thank you, she whispered. Ethan shook his head. Don't thank me. Just breathe. You're safe now. Her eyes filled again. I thought no one would ever come. He looked at her with quiet pain. We always come, darlin'. Sometimes too late, but not tonight. Headlights flashed outside. A small car pulled up, Jessica Lane stepped in, camera ready. She was sharp, fearless, and used to being threatened. She scanned the scene, the biker leader, the shaking waitress, the bleeding man in the booth. Tell me everything, she said. Lila spoke, voice trembling but strong. Every word poured out, the weeks of harassment, the threats, the fear. Jessica filmed it all. When Lila finished, Ethan handed Jessica the knife Rick had dropped. You'll find his fingerprints. And the security camera above the counter, it's been rolling the whole time. Jessica smiled faintly. Looks like tonight the devil got caught on tape. Rick's eyes widened. You can't, my brother will. Ethan leaned in close, whispering, let's see who can save you. Rick's face drained of color. Minutes later, sirens wailed in the distance. Sheriff Dalton himself barged in, his badge glinting. He took one look at his brother, bloodied, cuffed by Mason, and turned red. What the hell is this? Ethan stood his ground. Your brother tried to assault a woman. We stopped him. Dalton's voice shook with rage. You touch my family, I'll bury you. Jessica stepped forward, camera rolling. Careful, Sheriff. You're being recorded. Dalton froze. She held up her phone. Security footage, knife, witness statements, all ready for the press. Ethan crossed his arms. So what's it gonna be, Sheriff? Arrest your brother, or lose that shiny badge. The sheriff looked from Ethan to Jessica to Lila, and finally, to his brother's terrified eyes. Then, slowly, he pulled out his cuffs. Rick Dalton, you're under arrest. Rick screamed, you coward. You're really gonna do this? Dalton's voice broke. You left me no choice. The diner was silent again. The cops took Rick away, Jessica left with her footage, and the Hells Angels stayed until the sun began to rise. Lila sat in the corner, wrapped in Ethan's jacket, staring at the first light of dawn. You okay? He asked softly. She nodded, wiping her tears. I think so. Just, thank you. Ethan sat beside her. You don't owe me thanks. You owe yourself peace. Lila looked at him. Why did you help me? You don't even know me. He smiled faintly. Because once, someone helped my sister. When no one else did. A tear slid down her cheek. Is she okay now? Ethan's eyes grew distant. She didn't make it. But if I can save one person the way she wasn't, maybe that means something. Lila's lip trembled. It does. It really does. He stood, stretching his back. You ever need help, you find the angels. We ride for justice, even if the world don't. She looked up at him, voice small. Ethan, thank you for believing me. He placed his worn leather gloves on the counter and smiled. Always believe the broken. They're the only ones who know the truth. A week later, headlines swept the county. Sheriff's brother arrested for attempted assault, Hell's Angels called heroes. Lila quit the diner. Jessica helped her find work at a local shelter. And every night, as she locked the doors, she could hear the distant rumble of engines, her silent guardians riding the highways. Sometimes, when she served coffee at the shelter, she saw a group of bikers park outside and wave before riding off. She'd smile and whisper, "Thank you, angels." And somewhere far down the road, Ethan's voice echoed in the wind. Let's see who can save you now. Sometimes, it's the angels in hell who do.